Welcome. In this short video, we're going to talk about what JavaScript can do. JavaScript is used to build interactive and engaging websites. Because JavaScript is sort of the language of the web, you would normally write JavaScript programs that run inside a web page, inside a browser. And that is one of the key reasons. Although, as I was meant, many people are starting to write JavaScript programs that run outside the browser. And for that, we will download and use Node.js. But for the time being, or for most of the lessons we're talking about, it's about building engaging websites with user interaction. A second reason why, or second thing that JavaScript can do is it can react to the user who's clicking the button, moving the mouse, tapping on buttons, pressing keys on websites in the browser. It can react to it and respond to it. So as an example, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see there's a little screenshot of a login screen. You might have seen many login screens over the time on browsers, on pages you visited, trying to get you to log into their website. And many times there's JavaScript running behind it. Like, for example, when you enter your email address, they might be checking to ensure that you've entered a valid email address that has an @ sign in it, that you've entered a valid password, and this before you've even clicked the login button. The JavaScript is running and listening and reacting and responding to the user entering in an email or a password. And that's what I mean by building engaging websites. JavaScript can also do things like store and retrieve information in your browser. We sometimes websites, when you use them a lot, they store little pieces of information so that when you visit them again, it has all that information remembered. This information stored in your browser is usually in the form of something called a cookie. It's stored in your browser. And for example, if you have preferences that you set on a website, or style and look, or set up how that website looks for you, many times the browser this information is stored in the browser in cookies. That's why when you visit that page again, it remembers those things, because it's looking up the cookie that has all that information about your preferences for using that website. And that's also why when you go to a different browser but visit the same website, all those settings are not there, because when you visited, let's say, a website A on the Chrome browser and stored all your preferences in the cookie is saved in that particular Google Chrome browser. So when you go to that same website in Firefox, that cookie is not there unless you also set the same preferences up. JavaScript can also dynamically, like on the fly, change the HTML that's currently on the page, change the existing content, and modify the styles on the website without you needing to reload the page. This is what kind of makes JavaScript, or makes JavaScript-based web applications dynamic, and gives you a rich user experience. And the cool thing is that you don't have to many times refresh the browser for those changes to take effect. One of the other important functions of JavaScript and what it can do is it can take your information, or take information from what you enter on the website, information you may have entered in a form or something else, and send it over the network to a remote server to interact, to get more information for you. For example, maybe fetch some data from a database or a server and bring it back to you, and serve it to you. It also allows you to maybe help you download and upload information. So here's an example of a website, and at the bottom you can see the disclaimer, and this is happening more and more. The browser is kind of telling you that this website uses cookies to help you customize and personalize your online experience for that website. And the browser is giving you a little bit of protection to make sure, first of all, if it's a website you trust, that you want it to store a cookie, you're going to allow it to store a cookie, and you're okay with that, because you don't sometimes want to trust just any website to store a cookie on. You want to be very careful and be cautious. And the other example is that here you can see a pop-up here that the website wants to send you notifications and pop-ups to engage you further. So that's what some of the things that JavaScript can do for you when you run it in a web browser. Thanks for listening. All the best in your journey to JavaScript.